am I actually manipulating people when I'm trying to manifest them? Let's talk about that. Yeah, I do have several clients asking me that question when I tell them, well, you can manifest your twin flame or your person. And then many say, but I don't want to manipulate them. And I have to say, yeah, that is something that I would used to think. Back then I didn't know about manifesting. I would have called it magic. And I would always have said, no, we don't do magic because it is not okay to mess with anyone's free will. But now we know that we live in our own quantum bubble. We have our own holographic universe that we get to play, and everyone is as pushed out, so they have to conform. So the answer is no, it is not manipulation. Manipulation would be if you would try to, well, manipulate them in the outside, you know, like giving ultimatums, pressuring them, nagging them, anything like that. Or I don't know, what do some people do? Flirting with other people to make someone jealous, something like that. Or, oh, they have been ghosting me, now I'm ghosting them. That kind of petty behavior, that is manipulation, and it is not going to lead you anywhere, because you're doing this, yeah, with very negative assumptions. Basically your assumption is that person is treating me bad, and yeah, I hope they get their bad karma for that. So no, it's nothing like that. The thing is that creation is finished, as Neville Goddard said. And this question, it used to drive me crazy. I was trying to find out, do we have free will, or is everything strictly determined? And when I studied philosophy, in the introductory course, we were learning about freedom. I was like, oh yeah, those have a point. And then the next lesson was about philosophers talking about determinism. I was like, oh, determination. Is it determinism or determination? I'm sorry. English is not my native language, but you know what I'm talking about. It's like, oh yeah, they do have a point. Then when you learn about physics, Albert Einstein, and then you feel like, okay, this is determination. Then I learned about like biochemistry, that before you actually make a decision, a part of you already made that decision without you consciously knowing it, which means, yeah, you have the feeling that there is free will, but you're still determined. So even my bachelor thesis about Harry Potter, are those figures free or determined? Is Harry Potter good because of free will and Voldemort bad because of free will, or is it determined? And all of that led to determination or determinism. But then in my work, I've seen free will, because as a coach and reading cards, you know, the future is not set in stone. So this used to drive me crazy. But then I finally figured out, okay, everything has already happened, as physicists imply, so it is strictly determined, yet we do have free will. Why? Because everything happened multiple times. You know, in this multiverse, there's different timelines, and I always try to explain it to my clients, you know, like a radio. There's like this rock channel, this pop channel, I don't know, country channel, and all of those channels, like radio channels, are broadcasting simultaneously, and you just tune in. This is basically very similar. There's like different realities broadcasting at the same time, and you tune in according to your own assumption. And if you have assumptions like, oh, this person is treating me bad, and people in the past have treated me bad as well, you know, self-concept, then that is what you will get, and you will not get the person treating you good. Or if you have still fears of loss and abandonment, you're not going to get the person that gives you commitment, because that's not a match to your, you can say, to your frequency or to your assumption. If you're enjoying this video so far and maybe already got some valuable information out of it, then please let me know by commenting and liking. That will help me to understand what kind of content you like, and I can create more of it. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, please considering subscribing, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. I release content like this all the time on a regular basis, and you don't want to miss that one video that might change your life and shift you to your happy end. So when we manifest the other person, we're working first of all on our self-concept. We're working on, well, do we have fears of loss and abandonment? Has there been a red thread? And then we may have to work on those, for example, with the revision technique. I do have a video on the revision technique. And to, I would say, manifesting is like planting flowers, but sometimes you have to dig out the weeds first. Then we manifest our person by seeing them as their best version, by either affirming, daydreaming, visualizing, scripting, technique, doesn't matter. I do have an entire playlist of different techniques. Just pick one technique that speaks to you, and what happens is that you don't change that specific person, but everything you can imagine has been created. I always tell my clients, you most likely cannot vividly imagine living in a happy romantic relationship with Donald Trump. And most of my clients say, you know. Why? Because this does not happen in this multiverse. There is no timeline where you are happily married to Donald Trump. That is why you cannot really get into that. You don't have that desire. But if you have a desire, it automatically means that this timeline has created. It does exist in this infinite possibility universe. And so you work on your assumptions and on your assumptions about yourself again and the other person, and then once that is the dominant belief, your dominant assumption, you shift into that timeline. So your person has no free will, and you're not changing them because they exist many times in this multiverse. Always use this example with my clients. Imagine you apply for a job, and then version A of you gets that job, and version B of you does not get that job. But that means you already exist twice in this multiverse. Once with job and no job. And the experience you made, because you couldn't experience both simultaneously, you only experienced one thing, getting the job or not getting the job. And the experience you made was based on your assumptions, not, oh, I'm thinking a bit positive right now, because if you have assumptions about, oh, I never get that job, then you may have a good feeling about that job. But if your most dominant assumptions are like, no, I don't get jobs, then you made the experience not getting that job. If your dominant assumption was, of course I get that job, then you did get that job. You already exist twice. But things like this happen many times. So you exist multiple times. And so does your person. And even if that person you are dealing with in this specific timeline does not want to be with you, it does not matter, because as soon as you have the desire to be with this person, there is a timeline where they desire you as well. It's also never got it. Whatever you want wants you too, right? And when you try seeing them in your visualization or affirmation or scripting or again whatever technique, that they are with you and they choose to be with you and they love you, you're not manipulating that person, that timeline you're dealing with right now. You're changing to that other timeline where that person by themselves with their own free will, chose you. Because they also have all of the versions of you to choose from. You always meet the person that meets your assumptions, and because you meet their assumptions. If you're still unhealed and you have maybe some toxic traits like being very clingy, for example, the anxious attachment style, then you of course are dealing with a version of them that also is not healed and probably has the avoidant attachment style. But if you have cleared your self-concept and your concept about them, then you meet in this other timeline, and it's not that person, but you meet the version of them that clicked eventually, noticed, oh my god, I have to work on that, or that clicked and realized, you are amazing, of course I want to be with you. And it will unfold in a way that it will feel for you like they're changing, because it's not like there's a portal opening and you walk through and then you know, okay, now I am in a different dimension, different timeline, and that person is different now. No, it is just, it will unfold in a way where this person is changing, and all of a sudden you realize, oh my god, I want to be with you. You know, if it's like a romantic thing we're talking about, could also be you have problems with your family, for example, and then you imagine, I want peace with my family. Now you shift into a timeline where they do have that. So you never have to worry. First of all, can I manipulate my person? Because you cannot. Again, manipulation would be trying to force something in a 3D. And you don't have to worry about, can my person grow? Because once you see them as the version that has grown and evolved, again, you're switching timelines where they actually have. You know, and that vision, that timeline, maybe they didn't even make the same experiences because they have a slightly different past than the one you have met. So maybe they have never been that kind of, let's say, damaged. So no, there is nobody ever has any influence on what timeline you experience but yourself. Which means, you cannot possibly influence anyone. You cannot manipulate them because you're meeting the version of them that shows whatever you want. If it's romantic, they choose you. If it's like a company, then you choose that timeline where that company knows that you are the one they want to hire, and you will be chosen if you see yourself as being chosen and the other person as choosing you and being open to choose you. So there's no manipulation, and don't worry about it. I hope it helped. If it did, please leave your comment, please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Check out my other videos, please. And if you're interested in personal coaching, I am available. I do see you in another video in personal coaching. And until then, I do wish you all the best now. Bye-bye.